Hey, what comes to mind when you hear the word authority? For a lot of people, it's not a pleasant image. Maybe it's a boss who barked orders, a parent who ruled with fear, or a leader who made every decision about themselves. Honestly, for many of our team members, people that we meet in life, that's their only frame of reference. So when you step in as a leader, trying to guide, correct, or even cast a vision, they don't see your care. What they see is control. And here's the truth. Biblical authority is not about control. It's about covering. It's not about conquering people. It's about carrying responsibility. And today we're going to talk about how to lead with biblical authority, the kind Jesus modeled, the kind that transforms people rather than tramples them. This is Lead in 10, and I'm Chris Moore. Let's go to the words of Jesus in Matthew chapter 20, verses 25 through 28. It says this, "Ye know that the princes of the Gentiles exercise dominion over them, and they that are great exercise authority upon them. But it shall not be so among you. But whosoever will be great among you, let him be your minister. And whosoever will be chief among you, let him be your servant. Even as the Son of Man came not to be ministered unto, but to minister and to give his life a ransom for many." Now, that's a radical statement. Jesus flips authority on its head, especially for that time period. He tells his disciples the world uses authority to dominate. But you will use it to serve. And this wasn't just talk for him. He lived it. Think of John 13. When Jesus, knowing all power and authority had been given to him, got up from the table, took a towel, and washed his disciples' feet. The very moment he had the right to command everyone, he chose to serve everyone. That's biblical authority, authority under submission, power surrendered to purpose. The core principle, here it is. True authority flows through humility and love, not through dominance and fear. So how do we lead this way? In our teams, in our businesses, in our ministry, even in our homes. Especially when our people, they've only seen the world's version of leadership. Let's look at 4 ways to walk in biblical authority. Number 1, we should lead from submission, not position. Submission, not position. Before you can lead others, you must first be led by God. Romans 13:1 reminds us, "For there is no power but of God. The powers that be are ordained of God." That means every bit of authority you have is delegated. It's borrowed. When you operate under God's direction, when you seek his wisdom, pray before decisions, and align your leadership with his word. Your authority, it carries divine weight. But when you lead by ego or emotion, that same authority, it becomes heavy, not holy. Heavy on you, heavy on the person that you're speaking to. So before giving direction, pause and ask, Lord, am I leading this way because you've called me or because I want to prove something? That one question can keep your authority anchored in that humility. Number 2, we need to protect, not dominate. Authority in Scripture always comes with the responsibility of protection. Think about a shepherd. It's throughout the Bible. The sheep follow not because the shepherd shouts at them, but because they trust his voice. As a matter of fact, if you've been around sheep, if you shout, they're going to run away. When God gave Adam authority in the garden, he told him to dress it and keep it. In other words, cultivate and protect the garden. Your role as a leader isn't for you just to rule your team. It's to create an environment where they can flourish. So ask yourself, do my people feel safe bringing me problems? Do they trust that correction comes from care, not just from criticism? If not, you've got to actually rebuild that trust. Biblical authority never intimidates. It doesn't intimidate. It invites. Then number 3, we need to model sacrificial leadership. Jesus didn't say, "Do it, I say." He said, "Follow me." John chapter 10, verse 11, he calls himself the good shepherd who lays down his life for the sheep. Leadership isn't about how many people serve you. It's about how many people you serve. When your team sees you take responsibility instead of shifting blame or pointing at others, when they see you stay calm under pressure instead of snapping out, when they see you show up early, do hard things, and then give credit freely, they begin to understand biblical authority in its motion. It's not about being over people. It's about being for people. And then we need to discipline, but we need to do it with grace and with truth. There is a difference. You've probably experienced that in your life. If you haven't, I hope that you will, at least to the extent that you can for somebody else, because authority sometimes means correction. Jesus corrected his disciples often, but notice how he did it. He didn't humiliate them in front of others. He corrected them privately with grace and with truth. When Peter rebuked him, Jesus corrected his thinking, but never cut off the relationship that he had with Peter. Even when Thomas doubted, Jesus didn't shame him. Instead, he gave him the proof that he asked for. Biblical authority doesn't excuse sin or failure, but it always aims for restoration, bringing them to himself. It's not about the retribution. When we do it right, people may not enjoy it. They probably won't, but they'll respect it because they know that your goal isn't control. You're not bringing the hammer. You're bringing care. Now, there are two traps that's common. The command and control trap. Thinking your title gives you the right to demand obedience. Why are you going to do it? Because I said so. Yeah, I didn't like that as a kid. I'm sure you didn't either. That's worldly leadership. Jesus said, "It shall not be so among you." And number two, we shouldn't have this fear of authority trap. Swinging too far the other way, avoiding hard conversations because you don't want to be harsh. You don't want to make somebody upset. But biblical authority isn't soft. It's strong, but it's surrendered. It's surrendered to God and his purpose. You can be both kind and clear. That's why I wrote my book, Lead Like the Lion, Serve Like the Lamb. You have to be both, and you can be. You can be gentle and grounded. Jesus was both the lion and the lamb, and that balance, that's what gives true authority its power. So here's the good news. You don't have to earn authority. You simply have to steward it. God placed you where you are for a reason. He's entrusted you, regardless of where you're at, what level you are, who you think you are, what you think you are, what your role is. God's entrusted you with people, influence, and opportunity. It's all around you. So lead with boldness, but lead like Jesus. Lead with the towel, not with the title. Lead with prayer before you lead with pressure. And lead with love. Love that corrects, protects, and reflects. Corrects, protects, and reflects Christ, not ourselves. So this week I want to challenge you to ask yourself, would my team describe my leadership as controlling or as covering? Can they see that I care, not just say that I care? If the answer isn't what you hope, it's okay. We all start somewhere. Every leader grows best in the community. And if you're looking for a place to grow alongside other Christian business leaders to find encouragement, accountability, and clarity on how to live this out, then I want to personally invite you to check out the Line Leader Mastermind. It's a great first start. It's where a faith-driven leader can come each week to grow in wisdom and integrity and learn to lead teams with biblical authority and have someone come along beside you and help you. Stay on task, stay on purpose in the right ways, and do so in a prayer-filled environment. You can learn more at linelamleader.com/mastermind. Again, that's linelamleader.com/mastermind. I'm sure you can find it in the description. And that's all for this episode of Lead in 10. I'm Chris Moore. Let's keep leading with love and truth, walking with the kind of authority that looks like Jesus. And I'll see you in the next episode.